I wanted a husband, not a project. That one line, quiet, direct, and absolutely devastating. When Jennifer Hudson said those words, the world paused because deep down, every woman who's ever tried to fix a man felt that. She had it all, the talent, the grace, the heart, and for a moment, it seemed like love finally caught up to her. Jennifer and Common looked like a match made in grown folk heaven, mature, private, healed, or so we thought. But behind those red carpet smiles were late night tears, silent sacrifices, and a woman who finally had enough of loving someone who couldn't love her the right way back. And now, she's speaking out, not with anger, but with clarity, not to expose him, but to protect her peace. This isn't just about Common. This is about every woman who outgrew a man she once believed in. So what really happened? And why did Jennifer say what she said? Let's go all the way in. For months, the headlines whispered it. Jennifer Hudson and Common are dating. And for a while, fans were thrilled. It felt different this time. Grown, mature, no messy drama. Just two successful people finding love later in life. But now, looking back, it was all smoke and mirrors. Jennifer Hudson, the Grammy and Oscar-winning powerhouse who had overcome unimaginable grief and still managed to rise, wasn't just looking for love. She was looking for stability, safety, something real. And Common, he seemed perfect on paper. Activist, rapper, philosopher type, a man of words, a man who, on the surface, shared Jennifer's values and past heartbreaks. But behind the scenes, a different story was unfolding, one that wasn't nearly as polished. Let's be real. Common has a history. From Serena Williams to Erykah Badu to Angela Rye and even Tiffany Haddish, the man is no stranger to dating high-profile women. But he's also known for never settling down. Every relationship started with public praise and ended with vague interviews about timing and not being ready. So when Jennifer stepped into that picture, people hoped maybe she'd be the one to change that narrative. But behind closed doors, Jennifer was realizing something heartbreaking. She wasn't building a relationship. She was fixing a pattern. She was pouring into someone who kept leaking from old wounds. Sources close to Jennifer began whispering to blogs that while she was deeply in love, she was also growing deeply exhausted. Imagine trying to maintain your career, raise a son as a single mother, stay spiritually grounded, and still have the emotional capacity to help him figure out if he's ready for real love. He loved the idea of her, the aura, the discipline, the strength, but when it came time to meet her emotionally, he wasn't there. He was inconsistent, detached, emotionally unavailable, and perhaps most painfully unaware of it. And it hurt because Jennifer had already lived through the worst kind of heartbreak. She had lost her mother, her brother, and her nephew in the most tragic way imaginable. So now in this chapter of her life, she wasn't just looking for romance. She was looking for peace, for partnership, for protection. And instead, she got another emotionally unavailable man wrapped in poetic words. That's when the shift started happening. Jennifer stopped showing up at events with him. She stopped name-dropping him in interviews. She got quiet. And when a woman gets quiet, that's when you should start paying attention. And then came the now viral moment. During a private conversation that later leaked through sources and shook the internet, Jennifer said it plainly. I wanted a husband, not a project. And baby, the internet exploded because it wasn't just about her. It was about every woman who's ever tried to turn a man into the version of himself he wasn't ready to be. Jennifer Hudson's quiet confession, I wanted a husband, not a project, struck a chord with millions of women because behind that one sentence was a lifetime of emotional labor women are forced to carry in relationships. And if you know anything about Jennifer, you know she wasn't speaking from bitterness. She was speaking from experience. See, when you're a strong woman, people assume you don't need anything. They see your independence and mistake it for invincibility. And Jennifer, she's done it all. She's carried herself with grace through public heartbreak. She raised her son alone. She built an empire from her voice, her talent, her story. But even the strongest women want to be held. Even the most successful women want to feel chosen. And when Jennifer entered into a relationship with Common, she wasn't looking for someone to rescue her. She was just looking for someone who wouldn't need to be rescued. But the problem with dating emotionally unavailable men is this. They don't usually show up broken. They show up beautifully packaged, with charm, intellect, vulnerability that feels deep, until you realize that vulnerability is just surface level performance. Common by many accounts is one of the most introspective men in Hollywood, but introspection doesn't equal intimacy. He could talk about love, he could rap about commitment, he could preach about healing. But when it came to being in love day in, day out, sources say Jennifer was left feeling like she was dating a man who was still learning how to love himself. He needed therapy. He needed closure from past relationships. He needed healing from the trauma of never fully growing roots with any one woman. But Jennifer, she didn't sign up to be a therapist. According to insiders, arguments began over small things. Plans being canceled last minute, vague communication, emotional detachment, and that classic line every woman dreads hearing. I'm just trying to figure myself out right now. Whew! Jennifer wasn't mad at the struggle. She understood the human experience better than anyone, but she was tired of pouring into a man who wasn't ready to pour back. Let's be honest. Common has said this himself. In previous interviews after breakups, he's admitted, I love deeply, but I also struggle with commitment. And that's the pattern. Love that burns hot in the beginning, but fizzles out when the real work of partnership begins. Jennifer, on the other hand, didn't have time for emotional maybes. She's a mother. She's a mogul. She's a woman who has already survived the unimaginable. So when the relationship started feeling more like raising a man than building with one, Jennifer had to protect her peace. What makes this even more powerful is that she never aired him out. She didn't drag him online. She didn't drop cryptic quotes. She simply moved differently. And when that journal entry leaked, the one where she allegedly wrote, "He was beautiful chaos. I thought I was loving a man, but I was loving potential." That's when the internet finally realized Jennifer was done raising grown boys. She was done being the soft place for someone who couldn't stand firm for her. She was done being the rehab center for emotionally unavailable men. When Jennifer Hudson stepped away from Common, she didn't do it with fireworks. There was no messy Twitter thread, no dramatic Instagram live, no cryptic TikToks aimed at he who shall not be named. No, she walked away like the woman she's always been, with grace, with silence, and with her head held high. But silence doesn't mean there wasn't pain. Sources close to Jennifer say she took time to herself after the breakup, not to mourn Common, but to mourn the idea of him. The dream she had of building a life with someone who understood her drive, her passion, her soul. And what's wild? That dream almost became real. There were whispers, real or not, that Jennifer had once believed Common might be the one. She'd even opened up about how she wasn't just looking for love. She was ready for partnership, marriage, a man who would meet her at eye level. But what she got instead? Another man who needed healing while expecting her to be his healer. And once she walked away, people noticed. Common, who had once been so public with past romances, went quiet. No statements, no songs, no spoken word poetry explaining his side. Just silence. Insiders say he didn't take the breakup well. Not because he was blindsided, but because he knew he'd fumbled a woman who had given him nothing but grace. Jennifer didn't just represent another relationship. She represented home, stability, legacy. And by the time he realized what he had, she had already closed the door. But this isn't just a story about love lost. It's a story about growth. Jennifer used the aftermath to focus on herself. She poured into her craft. She got closer with her son. She started showing up more boldly in spaces where her light could shine, without being dimmed by anyone else's confusion. And baby, the glow up didn't go unnoticed. Fans began calling her the blueprint for emotional maturity. Other women started saying her story gave them the strength to stop fixing men and start choosing themselves. And maybe that's what hurt Common the most. Not just losing Jennifer, but realizing the world was watching and they were all on her side. The sympathy, the support, the subtle shade, it all painted a picture not of a woman scorned, but of a woman free. And let's not forget, Jennifer's alleged journal didn't just speak about heartbreak, it spoke about clarity. One quote that fans keep sharing says, "I kept trying to be soft for a man who only responded to struggle. I wasn't his piece. I was his mirror, and he hated what he saw." Phew! If that doesn't make you rethink your entire dating history, I don't know what will. Because here's the thing, when a woman like Jennifer walks away, it's not because she stopped loving you, it's because she finally started loving herself more. And from the outside, it might look like she's just back to focusing on her career or her family, but internally, she's building a new standard, one that doesn't include being a man's teacher, therapist, mother, or emotional life raft, just his equal, or nothing at all. As Jennifer Hudson began to rise higher, emotionally, spiritually, and professionally, something remarkable happened. The world started paying attention, not just to her music, not just to her talent, but to her strength. Women everywhere began resonating with her story because it wasn't just about celebrity gossip anymore. It was a mirror reflecting what so many women had silently endured, being the strong one, loving men who were still broken, holding on to potential instead of peace. Social media lit up with posts like, "Jennifer Hudson choosing herself was the real love story. She didn't leave him bitter, she left him better." That's power. Even celebrities began weighing in, often indirectly, praising Jennifer's elegance in the face of disrespect and calling her the blueprint for emotional boundaries. And then came the shift. Suddenly, Jennifer wasn't being asked about Common anymore. She was being asked about herself, about how she stayed so grounded, about what she looks for in a partner now, about how motherhood shaped her love language. And every time she answered, it was with that same quiet confidence. "I'm not here to fix anyone. I'm here to grow with someone." That's when fans realized Jennifer had redefined what power looks like in a relationship. And what about Common? Well, he didn't vanish, but the energy changed. People weren't cheering him on like they used to. Instead, they were questioning his pattern. Erykah Badu, Taraji P. Henson, Serena Williams, Tiffany Haddish, Angela Rye, and now Jennifer Hudson. Each one a powerhouse. Each one walked away. The whispers turned into conversations. The conversations turned into headlines. Why does Common keep fumbling powerful Black women? Common? A serial dater? Or just emotionally unavailable? When will men stop mistaking healed women for rehab centers? And Jennifer? She never threw dirt on his name. Not once. She didn't have to. Her silence was loud. Her glow was louder. And those journal rumors only amplified the truth we already sensed. That behind closed doors, she was loving deeply, but not being loved the way she deserved. And maybe that's why the alleged journal resonated so much. Lines like, "He said he loved me, but only when I made him feel good, not when I needed love back." Or, "I wanted a husband. He wanted a project manager." Whew, it hit different because women saw themselves in those words. Not just the heartbreak, but the healing. It became more than gossip. It became therapy. And somewhere Common might have realized He didn't just lose a woman, he lost a legacy. Because Jennifer Hudson isn't just another ex-girlfriend. She's a blueprint, a reminder that you can love deeply, lose gracefully, and still win. That even when the world watches you walk away, you can do it with dignity. And when you do, you don't just take your heart with you, you take the power, too. So now you know. This wasn't just about Jennifer Hudson and Common. It was about every woman who's ever poured into someone, hoping they'd finally feel full, only to realize they were loving a project, not a partner. Jennifer's story reminds us that healing doesn't always come with closure. Sometimes it comes with walking away quietly, choosing yourself loudly, and never looking back. And as the whispers of her leaked journal continue to swirl, one thing is crystal clear. Jennifer Hudson didn't lose. She grew. She didn't get left. She let go. And Common? He might still be searching for what he let slip away. So tell me, was Jennifer's silence more powerful than any breakup post could ever be? Drop your thoughts in the comments. And if you've ever had to be the strong one, if you've ever loved someone who needed saving, hit that like button. You're not alone, and you deserve better too. Subscribe for more untold stories, because this was just the beginning.